In this video, we're going to be looking at how to create our own games in Kainundrum using the level editor. And with that level editor, we can share our games with our friends and they can jump in and join us. But first, a fun fact. Did you know that the kiwi bird, a small flightless native bird from New Zealand, lays eggs that are about 20% of the mother's body size? Kiwi eggs are 6 times as big for any other normal bird. Right, let's get started in the level editor. Now, if you're serious about creating games, what I suggest you do is maximize the 3D window by clicking this icon up here. Next up, we're going to go to projects and we're going to create a new project. Go to My Projects, click New Project. Let's call it Kiwi's Maze. Once you've created a new project, it automatically opens up the editor. You can choose the type of game you want. For more details about the different game types, check out the user manual. In this one, we're going to choose the maze race. So what you'll notice first is you've got a layout of these 36 tiles. Some navigation tips for you. Use WASD keys on your keyboard to move the layout around while you're in any of these modes. Use these little 2 icons here to zoom in or out of the level. Use your mouse wheel to also achieve the same. So once you click the tile icon, this highlights the areas that you can build tiles. In blue is the available options where you can click. So if I click there, I can add tiles. Anywhere where there's a blue section, I can add tiles. You cannot add tiles or you cannot create islands with tiles. For instance, I cannot delete tile 37. Once you're done, then let's move on to the next option, creating walls. I can manually create walls using my mouse and just clicking, and you can see how it highlights and builds up the walls. I can also click on Auto Generate Maze, and every time you click on this, it'll generate a new maze for you. Next up is painting tiles. Now, because Kainundrum comes with a couple of multiplayer game modes, you can create some zones. So maybe this zone over here, my yellow zone, is for Team A and the green zone is for Team B. Next up, we can draw lines. We can change the brush size and let's draw some words. Kiwi. Now, all objects can interact with each other. So what we're going to do is we're going to put down a start tile over there and let's put a finish over here. So next up, we've got checkpoints. Checkpoints need to be triggered in the order that they are done in. For instance, if you only go over checkpoint 2 and get to the finish, you won't be able to finish because you need to trigger both checkpoint 1 and 2 in this situation. Cubes are always fun in like the cube run game types and things like that. So you can move them around, collect them, compete with your teammates. For instance, I might create some yellow cubes and some green cubes. And let's say the green team needs to pick up all the green cubes and yellow needs to do the same. So in this maze game, let's see if I come down here, move along here. Oh, it's a long way to get to the finish. What I'm gonna do is create a little cheat for myself to get to the finish first. So what I've done is I've removed this wall between 33 and 34. And now I'm going to use the objects. So I'm going to click a gate. So I've got a gate here, but how am I going to open that gate? Well, I need a laser. So if I put a laser down here, you'll notice this little window pops up. But it's got on laser enter. So let me drop down and say trigger event. So if I go through the laser red line, it's going to trigger and open up the gate. So let's just click done. You can have multiple lasers and multiple gates all doing different things. What's next in our list? Mirrors. Yep, you can direct that laser anywhere you like. So I might trigger that laser over here as I drive through. Balloons. What can we do with balloons? So if I use the laser to pop the balloon, let's put this balloon over here. And I can again select an event. So gate 1, toggle gate. So if this laser pops the balloon, it'll open the gate. But maybe we want to put a cube in there, pops the balloon once you move the crate out the way. Now with any of these objects, you'll notice there's a little tick box which says movable or not movable. Movable means a robot can come and pick up and push this object. The same goes for the mirrors, can be movable or not. Same with lasers and most of the other objects. But let's say we've got somebody coming through this maze. We want to encourage them to go left. Well, we can do that using lots of Doge coins. Fill them up over here and we'll definitely get our opponents coming through this way. But we don't want our opponents coming through this way. How do we distract them? Well, let's put a slime slick in there or an oil slick, and let's spin the player around to turn them around. And we can put a couple in there to distract them. Don't forget, it'll also affect you. So now that we've pretty much finished building our maze, let's save it. Cool. Let's click start and see what it looks like. Remember to test out your games several times and make sure they're working well before you invite players. Let's have a quick drive. Notice how the clock starts once we leave the start tile. So this will be timing us, and then you'll go onto the leaderboard. The leaderboard is available in this menu down here, and you'll see the fastest or the best coder. So here we can see there's oil slicks. If we hit that, it spins us around. How are we ever going to get through this? Okay, that's really going to distract my opponents. So once you're happy with the level, we can click stop and get out of the game. And now we can invite our players to join us. Just click this little crown and that'll load up the lobby. And inside the lobby, we can invite our players. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial about using the level editor inside Kainundrum. Until next time, see you later.